Late. Don't call me late. Don't tell me when I'm late. I don't like being told those things. Gerst. Gerst. Gerst, Gecken, Gerd. Good morning. Good morning, folks. How's everybody feeling today? I just woke up, so you'll have to give me a second here. I also didn't start coffee. Wake up. Wake up, Paul's ego. I feel like giving you money. Well, thank you. I feel like slapping myself in the face till I'm awake. Good morning, Marshall. I'm off that goop. Oh, man. I woke up this morning. Knew I wasn't going to go back to sleep. But I'll be goddamned if it doesn't, like... It just drags some days. It just takes forever to get awake. Plus, it's like a little bit cold this morning, which is kind of nice. But like June, and it's chilly in the morning? Somebody tell me what the fuck is going on here, please? Let me just say that like chilly, breezy mornings like this don't happen where I'm at in the fucking summer. A little bit of that old climate change, maybe. Who knows? Chilly in the morning sounds like a podcast, does it? Why don't you go start it then? Yeah, it's actually like, I mean, it's not like fucking cold, but it's a little chilly this morning. Like it feels like 2 months ago. Feels like April. A podcast about the weather. No, thank you. Hi, everybody. Dude, if you could make a podcast about the weather and get big doing it, you'd be you would fucking make so many people quit podcasting. So many people would just quit out of sheer fucking, like, grief. You'd be the stud of the world. You make a fucking popular ass podcast that's nothing about talking about, like, oh, a breezy day today, huh? I'm in San Antonio right now. Any good food you'd recommend? Yeah. There's a Mexican joint there's not just one. It's like a local chain called Las Palapas. The locals call it Las P. They have breakfast tacos there that are really fucking good. They've got like this thing they call bean and cheese tacos, which is basically just little bean and cheese burritos that they serve. They're really good. Really good Tex-Mex shit at Las P. Las Palapas. Social commentary, 12,000 views. I think it might rain today, 16 million views. Yeah. I'd be done. Have you noticed that many corporations have their own podcast? It feels like a new form of advertisement. I mean, they're going to do, like, look, dude, a corporation will do everything that it can in order to seem organic. You know, it's like a Terminator. Corporations are like a Terminator. They walk among us, trying to act like us, trying to look like us. They're not us. They're not us. A cat doing the weather. Stop. Stop. You can only show me up so hard before I start getting offended, okay? That concept is so far beyond anything that I could have ever come up with. What do you think, D? A cat doing the weather? D's not impressed. He didn't even look at me. He was just like... So you said yesterday that the labor movement should bring police unions into the fold in order to gain officer solidarity, but it seems to me like officers' loyalty lies primarily with the state. Well, that's part of the reason for that, I think, is the lack of a strong, supportive labor environment. It's like cops have the police unions and the teachers unions have developed this idea. Hold on. Let this fucking giant cherry picker go by. I would think that there's got to be a fucking way to make the engine on a cherry picker not sound like the world's largest fucking vacuum cleaner. But what the fuck do I know? Anyway, what was I fucking talking about before the goddamn cherry picker of death went by? Fuck was I talking about? Labor. Right. Police unions. One of the reasons why they've become so unaware of the commonality of the adjacent working man is because they've existed in their own fucking ecosystem for so long. Police unions are one of like 3 large unions that have any teeth anymore. You got the Teamsters, you got the police unions, and you've got the police unions and adjacent law enforcement unions, and then you've got teachers and the adjacent education unions. That's it, right? And so oftentimes these 3 unions have existed in their own ecosystem. They provide their own support. They support their own strikes. They support their own actions. They're not in the mode of looking to other industries for solidarity and support. And so I think that folding the police unions in would give us some common ground with the police, show them that we're willing to show up for their protection and their fucking their collective bargaining rights. And I think that could help to create a new paradigm. A few months ago I said I'd donate to you. I'd donate if you streamed on your birthday. On my birthday. I'm 26 today. Your streams make me feel young, and I thank you for that. You are young, my friend, but happy birthday. A 26-year-old should not need to look at a crusty old man like me to feel young. It should just be a natural energy that comes off of you at 26. I remember being 26. Talk about, like, being a young buck, dude. Being a young buck out there in the world. Thinking I knew every goddamn fucking thing. Please. Please, weed. Oh, yeah. Well, if you've been working since your early teens and you're about to turn 30, you've been in it for a long time. Have you ever looked back at a picture and thought, I thought I was fat back then? I mean, I've been fat since the 6th grade, so not really. I've been a fat kid since the 6th grade. I can't really remember not being fat. To be frank with you. Fat with a P. P-H-A-T, fat. Is that what you think? Hello, Pranav. Good morning. Hope you haven't missed much. You haven't. We just got rolling. We just got ourselves rolling this morning. Sometimes I'm fat, sometimes I'm not. Right now I am. Yeah. Peace and love, peace and love. General Bulletin. No more fan mail after February the 12th. Thank you very much. No more fan mail. It's become too much. Any fan mail posted after February the 12th will be tossed with peace and love. I say this to you with peace and love. Peace and love, peace and love. Oh my goodness. Zigo, the blood of Numenor runs in your veins. I do not want this. Hey, come here. Come here. There's no need. Hey, don't do it. You leave him alone. Be a nice boy. Where is the horse and the rider? Where is the horn that was blowing? Not really excited about the new Lauder series. No, we'll see what happens. Are the foxes out or something? No, it's just a couple walking. Scientology episode was fantastic. I listened to it after I'd already seen Leah Remini's show and still learned some new stuff. Great job, dude. Awesome. I'm glad to hear it. I have a horror movie question for you. I have a horror movie answer for you. For Theolingus. Dude, I'll be honest with you, Honest Red. I haven't seen Sleepaway Camp in so fucking long that I barely remember anything about it. Yeah, I'd have to watch it again, to be honest with you. I barely fucking remember that film. Weed, please. Had to back up off of it, set my cup down. Tangerine and chronic, yeah, I'm fucked up now. But there ain't no stopping. I'm still popping. And Dre brought some bitches from the city of Compton to serve me. Ooh. Get some water. Oh. Oh my. Good to see you. Good to see you. Can we stop? Stop the goddamn pleasantries, please. It's goddamn fucking pleasantries. Drive me out of my fucking skull. Oh my, oh hell yes. Honey, put on that party dress. Drank me a drink, sing me a song. Something, but it wouldn't take long, yeah. Boom, 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 boom. She grew up in a Louisiana town, had a good-looking mama, never was around. Who doesn't love Tom Petty? I don't want to talk to anybody who doesn't love Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. If you met an old friend from back in the day, would you just walk past them or say hello? If I see somebody I know, I'm gonna say hello. It depends on like how well we knew each other. Like if I see somebody that I went to high school with from back in the day, but we weren't real close friends, I probably won't say anything. But if I see somebody I chilled with back in the day that I ain't seen in a minute, you know I'm gonna say something. You know I'm about to say something. Last dance with Mary Jane. One more time to kill the pain. I feel summer creeping in and I'm tired of this town again. Oh. Wah, 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 wah. An old friend contacted me recently and was just as obnoxious and douchey as when we were teachers or teenagers. I passed. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I didn't hang around with a whole lot of people that were totally obnoxious and douchey, so. I saw some people pretty recently that I hadn't seen in a while, and everything was cool. Saw some friends that I haven't seen in like a decade. It was at a memorial service that I went to. I was telling you guys about. There was a lot of people there that I hadn't seen. Some of them, like I said, in 10 years. And Said hello to everybody. Dodged a bullet that I thought was going to be way more awkward than it was. Was at the memorial service, kind of milling around and saying hi to the people that I knew. There were a lot of people there. And I'm standing there with Amelia, and all of a sudden, I look over and I see my ex-wife, who, you know, like, obviously she's going to be there. She's friends with, she and I dated for a long time, so my friends are her friends, and you know, I was just like, I hadn't seen her since the day I left. I hadn't spoken to her or laid eyes on her since the day I left. And it was like, that was strange. But that could have been really awkward, and it wasn't. I was, you know, because in keeping with what I thought her wishes to be, I have not contacted her at all or said anything to her. And I was planning on just like, all right, well, I guess we'll just move around each other's orbit. But she actually came up to me. It was very nice. She showed me a picture of the little dog Yoshi that I left behind. Unfortunately, our other little dog that I had when I left, Koopa, he got hit by a car. But she showed me pictures of Yoshi. It was very nice. It was very nice of her to like break the ice and come over and introduce herself and stuff. So it was cool. It's good to like, yeah, the ex run in. Yeah. I don't know why I wasn't expecting it either. I should have fully fucking expected it. But it just like, I was just like, okay, well. Is this recent? Yeah, a couple weeks ago. It's weird, but now that it, you know, like that initial thing has happened, you know, should I bump into her again or whatever the fuck, it won't be as weird. I don't really foresee that happening. But like I said, when shit happens, our group of friends is partially the same group of friends. Like I said, she was with me for like something like 16 years. So yeah, I mean, I don't know why I brought that up. Just a strange thing, I guess. I think it's odd because, you know, some people, they're together that long, they get divorced. They remain in each other's orbit, you know what I mean? In some way. And that is not the case for me and my ex-wife. You ever had a point in your life without friends? No. I doubt I'd run into my ex. Yeah. People can become bitter. Yeah. Yeah. I guess, to be honest with you, there's a lot of guilt that I carry around about that relationship. I was the one that initiated the breakup, which puts a lot of weight on you, you know, psychologically when you think back on things. I felt responsible for all of that. It took years for me to come to the realization that while, I made that move, I was not the one that was responsible, that we were both responsible for it. And I guess bumping into each other under those auspices or whatever felt like a little bit of closure. I remember talking to Amelia about it afterwards, apologizing to her if it was awkward. And she said, no, it wasn't. It was all right. And I said, that little conversation felt like closure because I could tell that she was fine. You know what I mean? And it's just like when you don't see a person that you were with for a very long time, you always kind of like wonder what's up, like if they're okay. And that wondering is done now. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'd heard through the grapevine about her and stuff, so I knew she was okay. But like having a face-to-face talk, seeing that whatever was there between us is gone, but everything's okay. That's like the chapter. The book gets to be closed now, I guess, huh? Most people forget their grudges. Some do hold grudges to the grave, but it's best to seek redemption or forgiveness. Yeah. What? What do you think? What do you think about all this, D? What do you think about all this? You got any opinions that you would like to share? You have an opinion on the subject? A yawn? Oh, I see. I see. I see. Whoa. I saw a red-tailed hawk snatch a bird out of midair. Metal. Cherry Picker Central today. It's the circle of death. What do you mean by cherry picker? One of those like a cherry picker is like one of those. It's literally a cherry picker, right? So it's a machine that's got a platform on it that extends. It's got a basket on the end of it. The dude stands in it. It gets taller so they can get to high wires and shit. Like, I think they call it a cherry picker because people probably used them to pick cherries. I'm guessing, but that's what I've always known them as. In hockey, that's what we call someone who's waiting behind the defense to skate in with the puck alone and try and sneak a goal. Yeah. A dino lift. Sure. I'm sure there are other names for them. But it was definitely cherry pickers that have been going by. Narcissists and sociopaths didn't choose to be that way. I don't know. Don't be so harsh on them. I mean, I don't know. That's a question that you have to kind of run into on your own. I will tell you this. A malignant narcissist will drain you. So you take that with a fucking grain of salt. But that's just the truth. A malignant narcissistic personality will drain everything out of you. They will take everything out of you. And a sociopathic personality that has, you know, certain proclivities will take everything from you. So you have to be cautious as a human being. You have to understand that you can't assume general goodness about human beings. You have to assume the opposite, unfortunately, if you want to protect yourself. I just think that sometimes people are wrongly demonized. I happen to think that most sociopaths live out their lives without anyone knowing that they're right. Sure, absolutely. Sure. The same thing goes with narcissists and shit like that. There's a lot of people who maybe would be categorized as those things, but nobody knows they have relatively normal relationships, etc. So, you know, that diagnosis doesn't necessarily mean you're like persona non grata. It's about what you do with it, right? I mean, narcissistic personalities and sociopathy are relatively prevalent in society to the point where I'd almost believe that they serve some evolutionary function. That there's some evolutionary reason for people with that brain chemistry. I think it's in modern society that brain chemistry becomes especially problematic in certain relationships. But there's more than likely a reason for that kind of personality type. Some kind of niche that they filled, like night owls, right? Soldier mentality type shit, yeah. Detachment from, like, being detached from certain aspects of human horror, right? Being able to emotionally detach or emotionally compartmentalize in the way that certain sociopaths and psychopaths can. Could be, you can imagine in a tribal, nomadic, hunter-gatherer society, having a couple people like that around could probably be really good, right? So I'm not trying to make some argument that mental dysfunction or whatever is a good thing. I'm just trying to say that back in the day, right, back in the early days of humanity during our nomadic times, having what we would call today a sociopath around probably meant that your tribe was safer and more productive in certain ways. Just like having night owls around ensured that your tribe was safer and more productive, right? Having people that were had a natural proclivity to being up all night and sleeping during the day meant that you had somebody that was naturally up and around during the night while everybody else that worked during the day was sleeping, right? And it's been hypothesized by scientists that night owl personalities exist because of that evolutionary trait. This idea that, everybody's got to sleep, so having people that will stay up and watch you while you sleep. How would the tribe move anywhere if 10% is asleep during the daytime? Well, I mean, they would obviously, you move. On moving day, you have to stay up, I don't know what to tell you. I'm talking about, when you've established an area that you're going to hunt in for a while. Somebody to watch the camp at night. You will find that with humanity, especially when it comes to mental states and personality and sexuality, just all of the kind of core defining things about humanity, it's all a gradient. It's all a sliding scale. That's what makes people unique, is that you may have your slider exactly in the same spot as somebody else in one way, but your slider completely different in another way, right? That's what makes human beings such unique individuals to deal with. Sneeze, please. Do, do, do. They live aliens. Yeah, kind of. It's an interesting that a lot of behaviors quirk we find problematic turn out to have an evolutionary basis. Well, you got to imagine that, like, modern life as we know it is only about 100 years old, give or take, and then modernity as we know it is only about 1,000 years old. So human beings have been on the planet for like what is it, like 300, 400,000 years now? So it's a lot of our history. Not 90% of our history at this point was spent in this more, I guess you would call, primitive state. I think the lines that our variety gets called mental illness keep slimming as people need to conform and also enjoy diagnosis labels. I don't know about that. It depends on the behavioral quirk, right? If your behavioral quirk was you were a sociopath, meaning that you were more assertive, less, uh, you know, less concerned with the feelings of others, more Machiavellian. Those people became politicians and business leaders and doctors and a lot of these other high stress, high risk, high reward type of environments. People like that, they're not as risk averse. So you can't say that everybody with a noticeable personality quirk or defect in the past was ostracized. It's just not true. Huge amounts of American presidents were insane. Huge amounts of kings in history were insane. We're talking about, the politics of manipulation and power. Paul Atreides was insane. Yeah, in a little bit. His son, Leto II, was certifiably insane. Definitely insane. Every person. Scratch out ruler and put person. Every person is insane in some way. Some of them, MJW, some of them were unable to outlast their insanity, and some of them thrived on it. You know that. Bum, 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 bum. Tonight we sail for Singapore. We're all as mad as hatters here. I've fallen for a tawny Moor, slipped off through the land of Nod, drank with all the Chinamen in the sewers of Perth. I danced upon a colored wind, I dangled from a rope of sand. You must say goodbye to me. Drank with all the Chinamen in the sewers of Perth. Paris. Brum, bum, 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 bum. Perth is in Australia. You mean the South Pacific? Yeah. It's not rope of sin, it's rope of sand. Danced upon a colored wind, dangled from a rope of sand. You must say goodbye to me. The captain is a one-armed dwarf. He's throwing dice down by the wharf. In the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. So take this ring. In absence of a conversation, we should just close our eyes and ask Paul to talk to us like he did to TJ in the Scientology episode. Yeah, a little mass hypnosis. So heave away, boys. Hello, Squiddles. Drive. Be safe. No, I'm not. Mass manipulation. I mean, I do that anyway. You guys are already the victims of that. We have several roosters in the neighborhood, yeah. Oh, D. What is life, bro? Can you explain it? Can you explain it to me? I need your help. I need you to explain it. Because I don't understand it. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. Explain. Can you explain? Can you explain to me? Can you explain it? Explain it. Where's your bow? Get it. Go find it. Where's your bow? And off he goes to find the ball. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's the truth that he's trying to convey to me, the wisdom. Life is a game of fetch. Can you give it to me? Can you hand it to me? Thank you. Come on, D. Oh, no, you gotta get it. You gotta hand it. You gotta hand it to me. You know what? Dinor's right. Dinor's right yet again. Come here, buddy. I love you. You're so smart. You wanna bring it to me? Dinor's right yet again. I came to you in a moment of existential crisis, Dinor, and once again you have pulled me back from the brink. Where would I be without you? Where would I be without you, D? Where would I be without you? Captain is a one-armed dwarf throwing dice down by the wharf. Get a hobby is always great advice. Oh, yeah. Wonderful fucking advice. Fix your whole life with that advice right there. Get a hobby. The fuck out of here. The fuck out of here. That shit. My dad sits around and does nothing all day and is miserable and bored. Maybe that's how he wants to be. And maybe he's not as miserable and not as bored as you think he is. You ever think about that? Maybe you perceive him as both bored and miserable, but maybe he's just fucking fine. Am I wrong? How do you know? Does he tell you, like, I'm bored and miserable? Or do you just presume his misery? Misery loves company. Can someone enjoy misery? Absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. Misery, like existential dread and misery, is just as fucking enjoyable as fucking happiness is. It really is. Honestly. It's part of the experience. Right? Part of, Rust Cole would describe, remaining part of the body. I'm just trying to remain a part of the body, man. I'm happy right now, though, and I like it better. Oh, yeah, happiness is not to be underrated. You can't be miserable all the time, just like you can't be happy all the time. There is a range of human emotion. Right, D? Can you come here? Get up here. I need to... Oh, I'm trying to help you out, bro. You got a big old grass, see? I want to get rid of your grass. I'm miserable most of the time, but yeah, not exclusively miserable. Good. Good. Without misery and crisis, happiness and stability would go unnoticed. Too much of a good thing. How's LSD different from shrooms in terms of a psychological experience? I've always tried to explain it to people like this. Shrooms are about what's out there, meaning what's beyond your eyes. LSD is about what's in here. So, in my experience, taking mushrooms is about changing your perception of the world, and taking LSD is about changing your perception of yourself. Which should be experienced first, in your opinion? I don't have an opinion on that. I think that the answer to that differs based on people and their personalities and their ability to do things safely. Do you think Plutchik's wheel of emotion is accurate? I don't know. I would have to look at it. Terrence McKenna says to take a heroic dose in a dark room with no outside stimuli to get the internal experience. Some acid trips are just going to be internal, and I don't mean to paint them as wholly internal experiences. It's just that the lens through which your perception is changed is different between LSD and psilocybin. Psilocybin, in my experience, and this may not be yours, does not tend to cause super introspective trips. It tends to cause extroverted trips for me. When I take psilocybin, I tend to be very intensely interested in the minutia of the world. The wind blowing through a tree, the way that the light hits a tree, it almost makes you see the world with a different filter, and your perception is warped slightly through that filter change. It's almost like that the filter is not only a vibrancy filter, but a detail filter and a slight fisheye lens. Whereas with LSD, it is it's hard to explain. It's different. The lens is different, right? So the lens on an LSD trip tends to be turned inward. That doesn't mean that you don't experience outside stimuli, but the lens on an LSD trip, at least for me, tends to go. It's like that perception that is focused on the outside world when I'm tripping mushrooms is turned inward, and everything that's inside of me gets projected in various ways onto the outside world. So that's why I say, mushroom trips are out here and acid trips are in here. Perfect analogy. Major difference in stricter terms is more in the ability to meet autonomous entities. High dose psilocybin is basically edible DMT, right? I have taken care of other humans under the influence of shrooms and on LSD. I'm glued to the chair. Yeah, right. I mean, it's just a different experience. It's a different kind of trip. I really wanted to examine the simplicity of an acid trip. And I've told you guys about this before. I did an experiment. This was a year and a half ago. Probably not that smart of a thing for me to have done, but I took acid 3 days in a row, meaning I would drop acid when I woke up. I would trip for about 12, 14 hours. I would sleep. I would wake up and drop acid. And I did this 3 days in a row, right? I spent 3 waking days tripping acid. And I intentionally kept myself sequestered away from other people and allowed only the stimulus that I wanted in that moment. So I sat in my office and I tripped 3 fucking days. And coming out the other end of that, I feel like I understand acid much better than I ever did before, even though, these were far from my first experience. But I definitely don't recommend you do any drug, but certainly I don't recommend you follow in my footsteps with that shit. But I instilled in myself a pretty heavy flashback trigger, which I'm sure you, like, if you really tried, you could do for yourself. Just hearing the opening notes of Go Flex by Post Malone can trigger a pretty major acid flashback in me. Because I spent one of those 3 days with that song just repeat. It would play through and then it would repeat. And it would play through and it would repeat. And everything I did that day was augmented by that song. That's low-key hilarious. It is what it is, dude. I was entranced by the fucking vibe of that song. Like, that song has got such a fucking chill vibe through it. And dude, it sends shivers down my spine just imagining it now. Like, I, it's definitely one of those things where I've got to be cognizant of, like, not putting it on playlists and shit if I'm driving. Because it doesn't every time. It's not like I'm like, whoa, I'm tripping again. But it definitely, like, you feel that acid edge. You're like, oh, shit. Mm-hmm. All right. I wouldn't say that that song is spoiled for me. I would just say that it's different for me. It hits different. What drug you done, Palsy go? Palsy go, what drug you done? What drug you done, Palsy go? Palsy go, what drug you done? I wanna know what drug you done, Palsy go. I wanna know what drug you done, Palsy go. You seem to be still really into new artists. What prevented you from only liking music from your youth? A conscious decision. I was definitely heading down Boomer Road, man. I was definitely heading down the road of, like, you guys would have to, like, part of what I would do here would be to sit here and tell you guys how all music was great when I was a kid and how it all sucks now. I was in that boat. Like, when trap music became the dominant kind of music, I was not on board. I didn't like it. I didn't like the aesthetic. I thought the dudes looked goofy with their face tats and their fucking bullshit. I thought the music was too simplistic, but I rejected it outright. I'd just been very, very, in my mind, boomerish about it. Like, look at these young people doing young things, having young fun. How dare they fucking enjoy something that doesn't sound exactly like what I enjoyed? You know, I was down that road. And then I just actually, like, to be honest with you, I started listening to it in order to make fun of it. Because people were always in my chat back in the day. You guys can go find me being boomerish about this. There were people in my chat back in the day always trying to push Lil Peep, this, that, and the other thing. Listen to Lil Pump, listen to this, listen to that. No, it fucking sucks. I finally fucking sat down and listened to it. And to be quite fucking frank with you, he's not my favorite artist of all time or anything, but it was Lil Pump that pulled me out of that fucking boomer shit. Because I started listening to the music and I was like, this kind of bangs. Was it was D-Rose by Lil Pump, that song. You want to listen to the song that de-boomerfied Paul? Oh yeah, I listen to Gucci. You pick up the bag and fumble it. I pick it up and flip it and tumble it. Was it weird living through rock starting to get digitally produced? Yeah, I mean, it definitely created a distance between me and rock music. Like, rock music died real quick once it started to get digital. And I'm not saying that's what killed it, but it's just like it bands that weren't talented started to rely on Ableton and shit, you know. And he started to get real shitty, like Puddle of Mud came out of that era. Thought all new school rap and modern rap sucked until I actually opened my mind. Yeah, I mean, I listened to it, right? I listened to that. I listened to Post Malone, and I was like, dude, there's a lot going on in these songs. The number one, the beats really sucked me in, and then just like kind of the stripped down lyricism and shit. I was like, you know, all of a sudden it made sense to me, and I could feel the connection that it had with what came before it, which is shit that I'm into, the hip hop I'm into from, you know, my childhood. I could feel all that influence in it. Ski Mask, X. Yeah, I didn't come across those guys until, you know, I started being more exploratory with it. Shit. I spent a good 6 months just really obsessed with Lil Pump and fucking Post Malone. Just really like digging through their shit, finding songs that I just wanted to hear over and over again. And then I slowly but surely started to creep out of that and look at other artists. One of the first ones I got into was Ski Mask. I got into Ski Mask before I got into X. A lot of people, I think, discovered Ski Mask through X. Or you know, I was vice versa. I don't see, and see, that's the thing, is like, just because I'm not closed-minded to all modern music doesn't mean I appreciate it all. I'm not a super big fan of Kendrick Lamar. I think he's talented and stuff, and I've heard some songs of his that are okay, but I never find myself going like, damn, I want to throw on some Kendrick Lamar. And I don't know what that is. I don't know why that is. I think maybe it's like a mood thing. Like, I just can't, I couldn't tell you, but you know, not every artist is one that I can vibe with, but I've been like really pleasantly surprised by the types of artists that I can vibe with. I'll tell you that much. Like, I found a lot of strange artists that I like. Melly and fucking, I don't know. The list goes on. I love fucking Lil Skies. Isn't Bobby Shmurda supposed to get out soon? Or am I wrong? Is Bobby Shmurda free yet? Yeah, I like LP. He's out? Oh my goodness gracious. Bobby Shmurda is out. He's free. Just caught a body about a week ago. One of the guys from Migos picked him up at the jail. Fucking opulence. Dude, Bobby Shmurda is gonna fucking, you know, he's gonna have a few things to say. What do you think he's doing this second? Probably asleep. I would imagine Bobby Shmurda is here in California somewhere. And it's what, like 8 in the morning, 8:30 in the morning. I would imagine Bobby Shmurda is probably still abed. Maybe I'm wrong though. Maybe he's up fucking in the Migos studio just writing bangers, getting head in the fucking booth. Shorty gave me neck till I pass out. Bobby who? Get the fuck out. Shmoney gang. Yeah, don't you dare Bobby who me up in here. I swear to God, all I do is cash out. I don't want to hear no Bobby who's up in here. Oh, D, I love you. Would you like to go inside? Would you like to go inside? Yeah. Okay. Give me a sec, buddy. Oh, Dad has to stretch every time he stands up because he's a creaky old tree. Bobby what? Bobby banned. Rappers are weird with going to prison. It's like a rite of passage. Well, yeah. Gives you street cred. Cherry picker, please. Cherry picker, why? Why is a fucking cherry picker going back and forth and back and forth? Why, cherry picker? Why? You betrayed me. I'm sick of this world. Are homeless people lazy, Paul? No. Easy answer. Next. Why do you do this to me, Lisa? Lisa, why? It's all right, man. You know, you don't have to be into everything and shit. I just like music, and it's a way more fun, honestly, to be into the new shit that's coming out than to hate it. So if you can find something to like in it, I recommend you do that. But I don't know, man. Gotta love Tommy Wiseau, man. A true American weirdo, for sure. Truly weird, truly strange, uniquely so. Dude, coffee. I have to go make some fucking coffee. Fuck you, Phoebe. Whoa. You made me have to go get coffee. You asshole. It's alright to tell me what you think about me. Our timing is structured. Did you hear, you fucker? A day late, a buck short. I'm writing the report. I'm losing, I'm failing. When I move, I'm flailing now. And it happens once again. You turn to a friend, someone who understands, sees through the master plan, and everybody's gone. You've been there for too long to face this on our own. I guess this is growing up. Do 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 do. I don't know why that popped into my head. Kale likes some blank. Yeah. Tesla. A Tesla in this neighborhood? It's more likely than you think. Yeah, they are everywhere in Cali. Nope, you don't get flying cars, dude. People can't be trusted with flying cars. Can't be trusted inventing them. We can't be entrusted with driving them. You're just never going to get the flying car. I'm sorry. Now, air taxis, drone taxis, that's going to happen. That's already a thing. They're already testing drone taxis, I believe, in South Korea. I believe it's Seoul has a drone taxi service where it's like you get in a fucking helicopter that flies itself, basically. At the very least, I heard they were testing that. If you could fuse with TJ and become an ultra neck lord, would you? That'd be pretty cool. No. I don't want to do fucking Super Saiyan Sengoku or whatever fusion technique with TJ. No, thank you. Have you ever lived anywhere with a really good public transit? Big fan of public transit. If that exists, flying cars aren't necessary, in my opinion. Yeah. When I lived in Bellevue, I didn't have to have a car because public transit was so good. A neck lord. Yeah, I don't know. Is that a new thing? Is neck lord a new thing? Maybe it is Dubai. I remember reading something about it. That'll happen. That'll become more ubiquitous as a way to get around traffic. The apex neckbeard is a neck lord. Okay, right. Got it. Gotcha. Noted. Okay. Apex neckbeard. Right. Got it. Neck lord. I watched you guys on acid once, and you and TJ and Scotty seem to be the same soul in different art incarnations. Oh shit. The Necronomicon, bro. The Necronomicon, bro. Wow. Finally watched The Big Lebowski last night. I can definitely see some of you and TJ's personal philosophy on it, of course. Very important movie to me. I assume it is to TJ too. He always mentions it in his top comedy movies discussions and shit that we always get roped into. So yeah. Foundational film. Really good stuff. Really good stuff. Do you like sex, Mr. Lebowski? The physical act of love, coitus. Do you like it? Yes. Some men are made uncomfortable by the female anatomy and find the words difficult to say when, without batting an eye, a man will refer to his dick or his rod or his Johnson. I love Maud. Vagina. Far out, man. Are you surprised at my tears, sir? Fucking A. Strong men also cry, Mr. Lebowski. Strong men also cry. Dude. What makes a man, Mr. Lebowski? Dude. Huh? I don't know, sir. You mind if I do it, Jay? I love The Big Lebowski because it's like a Greek. It's like the voyages of fucking. It's like the Odyssey. It really is. It's an unlikely hero thrown into something that's way over his fucking head and way out of his depth, and he's forced to go out with only his belief in himself to conquer it. You think the carpet pissers did this? Dun, 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 dun. Ba-dun, dun, 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 dun. Doo-doo-doo. Are these, those are Mr. Lebowski's children, so to speak. So racially, he's cool. No, they're not his children, Mr. Lebowski. It's a figure of speech. The little Lebowski urban achievers are inner city children of promise that lack the necessary means for a higher education. Don't do that, please. Don't touch that. I fucking love that role. I love Bryant. Oh, he's so great. I fucking miss Philip Seymour Hoffman so much. Yes, yes, the little Lebowski urban achievers, and proud we are of all of them. Did you ever meet someone who tried to be the dude? If I did, I didn't get it. Nobody has the vibe, so nobody can be the dude. Like, I'm sure people cosplay the dude, but as far as like somebody that's like, yeah, I'm gonna go out and do that. Like, if I've ever met a person that was trying to do that, I didn't get it. It didn't sell, You don't, one does not just be the dude, okay? He was great in every movie he was ever in. He stood out against the backdrop of every film he was ever in. P.S. Hoffman was one of the greatest talents of modern film, for sure. I'll be honest, if I could pick a character for you to play in any movie with total creative freedom, I would want to see your rendition of Smee. I'd be a pretty good Smee, I think. I think I could do Smee pretty well. That's definitely the type of role I like. I'm not a big I'm not a big leading role guy. I like being a supporting cast member. I've been leads in shows before. Is definitely not my preference. For me, the meatiest roles are always supporting roles. And I really relish getting to play a villain. It's not something I've gotten to do a whole lot in my career. And so when I get the opportunity to do so, I take it. Because I like villains. Heroes are boring. Villains are interesting. Rasputin. Fat Sputin. Rasputin had a big old hog had he. That's true. He had a pretty legendary hog. He had a big schlong. I've heard he had a big schlong. Great big old schlong. What the fuck is wrong with me? What's my age again? I hear he had a giant schlong. Oh, man. Fuck my life, bro. What is that slang word you use for a guy's package? I've never heard it before. Schlong. Dong. I like kind of like the ones that have like a slightly Asian sound to them. Like I like dong and I like Wang. Dong especially, I think is the one. Oh shit, man. I love those because you will never hear a turned on partner say, put that dong in me. Yeah, no. Ooh, yeah, let me see that big old dong. Whip out that dong. Never, dude, never. Ramalama ding dong. Oh shit, man. Pull out that Wang. Come here and come here and let me suck that Wang. Never. Never once. Oh yeah, dude, give me the Wang. The one-eyed monster, dude. The purple-headed yogurt slinger, yep. The Wang. Wang. Do you have a big Wang? You know who loves the term Wang? Fucking George Takei. Oh my, that is a fine Wang you've got there, young man. He loves saying Wang. He loves calling it a Wang. Dude, I bet George Takei has told somebody to come over here and bring that Wang. Bring that Wang over here so I can grab that Wang. When has he said that? Go listen to his appearances on the Howard Stern show. You will be enlightened and probably slightly disturbed. Musculature. Oh my. Oh my. Look at that Wang. Wang. Tsunami. Tsunami. He got made fun of for like a week for how he says tsunami. Because he you know, tsunami. Probably says it the proper Japanese way, but oh my. Does he have a great big Wang? Does he have a great big Wang? Oh yeah, dude. Takei was great. Do you remember when Artie like fake came out to Takei? That was like one of the greatest bits ever. He took it so well too. Like when he found out it was a work. He didn't get all butthurt about it. Artie came out as gay. Oh shit. The good old days are gone, folks. Will COVID end by next March? I don't even know, dude. Don't ask me. Go ask Fauci about that shit, man. Or maybe not. I don't know. Paul is a lib. Yeah, dude. Total fucking lib, bro. Libbing it up. Brunching till we can't brunch no more. Brunching the night away. Brunching the night away. Hash brown's just the best food. Fuck that. You know, one of the great things about being an adult is like all those rules about the shit you have to eat at certain times of the day go out the goddamn window. Dude, pizza for breakfast, pancakes for dinner, baby. Pizza for breakfast, pancakes for dinner, because nobody tells me what to do. Hell yeah. Breakfast for dinner is dope. Always. liberals more dangerous to the leftist movement than outright conservatives? I don't even know, dude. I gotta be honest with you. I'm in the process of moving away from describing the world in terms of politics. Like it's a part of stepping back from the goddamn fucking process, only to critique and only to criticize. Will I fucking bring up the goddamn DNC? I really am against framing the world in this political way. I think it's divisive, I think it's shitty, and I think it stifles conversation. I think it's a conversation stopper. So I'm doing my best to try and just fucking move forward without that. I want to leave behind all of the fucking toxicity and politics and shit. Like all of that shit that I tell you guys all the time that I believe is just a big old dog and pony show. Like, why then participate in it? No, not getting away from the discourse. I'm talking about getting away from the fucking framing. The left versus right framing that everybody wants to fucking paint over every goddamn issue. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about stepping back from the goddamn fucking discourse. Vosh finally hit me up with some possible times for me to go and have a conversation with him on his show. So I'll let you guys know when that's locked in, but isn't that essentially how things have been changed, at least when it comes to the government and its relationship with the people? What do you mean? I'm not saying that's how we move forward with labor, but we have to have a way to negotiate with the thugs in power when it comes to, say, marijuana legalization, local zoning initiative. No. No, we don't. Like, that's the thing is, like, no, we don't. We don't have to negotiate with the thugs in power. Negotiation has failed. So, in my opinion, it's time for a labor movement to take to the fucking streets, demanding from the companies that they work for and from the governments that they live under a living fucking wage and the right to collectively bargain for their fucking labor. That's it. I'm gonna take no prisoners, motherfucker. Fuck appeasing them. Fuck negotiating with them. Fuck allowing the whole world to be framed through their lens. No more. Nope, nope, nope. You start as a fucking baseline with me. You earn asshole status from me, all right? You come at me as a conservative, you earn asshole status. I'm willing to hear you fucking out, and I'm willing to give you my fucking position on things, and let's see where we fucking hash it out. I'm sick of this divisiveness, and I'm sick of the shit. It's not just the left that pushes it, it's the right. That's why I'm fucking divesting myself. That's what no confidence is about. This paradigm, this system, it's not working. It's not working for the people. It's not working for the Democrats. It's not working for the Republicans. It's just not motherfucking working. You were having a go at people for not being real leftists, and you were right. Well, you stopped doing that because I think that was divisive. Yeah. I mean, it necessitates, like, what I'm talking about here is stepping back from the fucking instant finger-pointing language and listening to people, you know, on the basis of their own fucking position. What are the crimes of the labor movement? The corporations took decisive action and took care of a problem. Poor people have a lot to think about, yeah. No, it's very true. No confidence, indeed. No confidence, indeed. I'm a conservative, but the labor movement is the most important issue in the U.S. versus the establishment. Okay, well, fair enough. See? I don't know if you're trolling or not, but assuming that you're not, that's, you know, that proves my experience out here in the real world. If there was ever a time that conservative people, rank and file conservative people, were at least willing to have a discussion about labor, it's now. So let's have it. Because I'm not sure I understand that last super chat. Can you expound on it more? Talking about like how corporations squashed the labor movement. Courts took decisive action and slowly but surely undermining the labor movement. And that poor people should think about that. You prevent nefarious political positioning against the movement by galvanizing the movement against such things. You need to be open with people about what's coming. No, you can't stop it. So you meet it head on. You roll over it. That's just all there is to. We didn't get current labor laws, current child labor laws, 8-hour day, 40-hour work week, blah, blah, blah. We didn't get that shit by asking for it from the government. We took it. Laboring people took it. And we're going to have to do that again. We've reached a point in history where we have again been relegated to a full underclass. Every goddamn bit of money that we get is washed through the hands of a million middlemen, and we get the scraps on the table if we're lucky, and nothing if we're not. That's all there is to it. Heavy consolidation of these corporations have effectively brought about economic conditions that are not unlike those right after the Civil War, where labor is this commodity that has people fucking working shittier and shittier jobs for less and less money. Don't work all fucking day and don't have the ability to feed their family on it. So the robber barons are back. Rockefeller is back. Jay Gould is back. Are you still an accelerationist, Paul? I don't know that I ever was an accelerationist. I hate these ists and isms. So I'm stepping back from that shit too. I'm not an ist. I'm not an ism. I'm a philosophical and political entity, and we can have a talk about what that is. Or you can go back and watch these and get to know me a little bit. I'm not an ist. I'm not an ism. I'm Paul. It's nice to meet you. Can we move past this fucking stupid labeling of every goddamn fucking thing and like talk about the root? Are you a tism? A little bit. Dude, I've recently been in like, dude, shit libs and this and that, just trolling on fucking Twitter, but that shit has to stop. Like, I've got to divest myself from that because it gets me nowhere with the people that I'm trying to reach. The people that I've already reached just agree. What's the point? What's the point? You got to criticize yourself. I've been pointing the finger a lot, calling out shit libs a lot, calling out harm reductionists a lot, and it's just like, what's the fucking point at this point? Let's talk about the reality of our situation for a second. Outside of all of this kind of toxic finger pointing and labeling and bullshit. This person's a tanky, this person's a shit lib, this person's a fucking neocon, this person's a neolib, this, whatever. Right, that may be all true, and you may want to fucking examine people from their ists and isms, but I think it's high time that we start getting real. Paul, what is the one thing most people don't agree with you on? Globalism. 100%. If there's a take that I've taken politically and philosophically that's gotten me more heat for longer, it's globalism. You guys remember back when I was on DP back in 2015, 2016, I was saying, like, we need to abolish borders, we need to join together as a species, we need to knock down these arbitrary fucking walls that surround us and cause all this nationalism and bullshit and tribalism. Like, that shit has to go. Like, functionally, we live in a global economy. It's time to knock down the borders. It's time for us to be free to move about the fucking world. And people called me a fucking loon. Go back and look. It's easy to find. There were memes about it. Destiny takes a very pro-globalist take too, sure. I'm probably not globalist in the way that Destiny would want me to be, because I assume from what little I know of Destiny's fucking politics that he is pro-capitalist globalism. Hey, Onion Knight, you're not funny. I'm sorry to throw a fucking rotten tomato at you, but I'm trying to save you from the rest of the booze. You're not funny. Maybe try and participate in the conversation instead of trying to be funny, boy, because you're not very funny. How would a dual strategy hurt the labor movement? What do you mean a dual strategy? You have to explain what you mean by a dual strategy, because I don't understand what you mean. I disagree with globalism, but I don't think you're a loon. It's actually sort of reality of today. I mean, yeah, but it's also a reality that it would fix a lot of the problems of today, like war. What would be the point of going to war if you could live anywhere on the globe that you wanted and just be a citizen of Earth? What would be the point of exploiting certain areas of the world for their resources? It would become about conserving what resources we have, because we would look at the world like we should, a lifeboat that holds us all. It's not like somehow functionally the piece of land California that I'm on right now is different from fucking Taiwan or Japan or fucking mainland China. You know, there are probably places in all of those places that look a whole fucking lot like this, especially microcosmically, like looking at the fucking grass out here and shit. There are probably places where I could stare at a field that looks just like this and temperatures just like this halfway across the globe from here. It's absurd at this point. I understand the idea of countries and nation states, you know, from an ancient perspective. It made sense when we didn't even know how large the world was, let alone what kind of people were on it and what their intentions were, but those days are past. Wait, you're in Cali? Yeah. This has been well known for like at least 3 months. I don't get why people think cultures would disappear if globalism took hold. Pizza and tacos ain't going anywhere. We would keep all the good things about all the cultures and discard the bad. Dual strategy meaning participating in local initiatives and electoral action, as well as participation in direct community level action via unions, community orgs, etc. As long as the participation in in electoral action is minor and minute. Because right now we're leading with that foot. So we have to make that the back foot. Labor, organizing, direct action. Oh, is it time to vote yet? Well, let's go do that. Direct action, labor. Oh, is it time to vote again? Let's go do that. Labor, right? That's the only way I support it. Because if you're going to continue to cheerlead for the fucking DNC as harm reduction, I got nothing for you. I got nothing for you at this point. To me, you're wasting time, you're wasting energy, you're sacrificing leftist fucking energy on the altar of fucking corporate propaganda. I'm done with it. I don't want to do it anymore. I won't personally be a voice for that anymore. That's what no confidence is about. Yeah, go vote. Time to go vote. Go vote. Just not for the DNC, not for the RNC. I think peoples tend to be tribal. I think it's hard to sell to richer countries that they'll need to share more with poorer ones and mass migration. It would be extraordinarily violent transition. We're seeing it now. The violent transition has already begun. Hello. People are fleeing what's known as now as the global south, what used to be known as the third world, because of increasingly unlivable and untenable conditions, and are being rounded up en masse, shipped back to their fucking countries with nothing, denied entry because of arbitrary lines in the sand. It's already happening. The violent transitional time has already started. And it's only going to get worse. Look up wet bulb temperature, lethal wet bulb temperature. 30 years. 40% of the earth is going to be fleeing climate change. Where do you think they're going to go? Take a shot. He said global south. Take a ban. He thinks he's funny, but he's not. It's safe to say that after thousands of years of imperialism, it has placed us collectively in a position where there is no win, simply a lose-lose situation for humanity as a whole. Even if that's true, we do what we must. We do what we can. Take a shot. I hate fucking idiots like that. I hate booger hangers that are just around to try and like make a funny Twitch TV joke that gets an omega lol or 3. Motherfuckers. Why don't you go orbit somebody else's butthole like a shit fly? Like a shit house fly. So gross. I just hate that people like that even fucking are in here. No, they don't only waste their own time. They waste mine, they waste yours, they waste everybody who watches these. Just fucking like total fucking apes, bro. I'm not saying we can't have fun and shit, but dude, quit trying to be fucking a stand-up comedian up in here. You ain't. You ain't it. Everybody got jokes. Nope. Do not think nuclear power is a viable option to fight climate change. Not because I don't trust that it could be done safely. It's that I don't trust human beings to do it safely. See Japan building tons of nuclear reactors in what they know are tsunami zones. And then fucking shrugging at the international community when a fucking giant tsunami knocks out a couple nuke plants. Can't do it, right? I don't trust people to do it right, so no. 3 Mile Island, Fukushima, fucking Chernobyl. Let's be real here. All of those things, human error, human error, human error. So no, I don't think nuclear is a viable option. If nuclear goes bad, it makes a whole swath of the fucking country unlivable. If you look at nuclear incidents in the United States, human error is at the heart of every single one of them. Or, like, not just the United States, in the world. Human error is at the heart of every nuclear fucking accident that's ever happened. And you want to tell me that building a ton of these things is not going to compound that problem? It's absurd. Human beings just can't be trusted to do the right thing at the right times. We don't see things that need to be seen right away. We make the wrong decisions in a panic. That's what happened at Chernobyl. Warning signs were ignored because there was a test going on. And once things got too far to go, the people in charge had no idea what the fuck to do. So they just sat there like monkeys fucking coconuts while the reactor melted down and exploded. Yep. You're talking about the bomb that fell out of a plane? You're talking about the nuclear bomb that accidentally oopsied out of a plane and didn't go off? You guys never heard of that one? Go look that shit up. That one time that the military almost accidentally nuked the Carolinas. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that bomb is still missing, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think nukes blow up by falling. What do you think a nuclear bomb is? Anyway, whatever, bro. American nuke was also accidentally dropped off the Spanish coast. We've non-accidentally dropped nukes all over the fucking world. Like island nations, our own fucking country, vast swaths of New Mexico, virtually uninhabitable. Because we just did nuke tests on them forever. What is this oof shit? No all caps. No acting like you're a fucking 12-year-old. This is not Tyler One's chat. Somebody spam him the fucking link while he's in timeout. While he's taking 5, somebody spam him the link. There you go. There it is. There's the rules. Read them and weep. Quit acting like a fucking 12-year-old up in here. Next time it won't be a timeout. It'll be a ban. John Wayne's not dead. He's frozen. And when they find the cure for cancer, they're going to thaw out the Duke. And you know what? He's going to be pretty goddamn pissed off. Was that you, John Wayne? Is this me? Who said that? Who the fuck said that? What slimy little cocksucker signed his own death warrant? Was it you, you slimy little cocksucker? Sir, no, sir! Bullshit. Sir, it was me, sir. Well, well, well. Private Joker. I tell you what, Private Joker, I like you. You can come over to my house and fuck my sister. Stand up. Show me your war face. Hey, your other siblings live? Sir, no, sir. Good for them. What's your name? Sir, Private Lawrence, sir. Lawrence? Lawrence? That sounds like royalty. Are you royalty? Sir, no, sir. Only faggots and sailors are named Lawrence. God damn that movie. So good. Are you a Peter Puffer? Sir, no, sir. Do you suck dicks? Sir, no, sir. Bullshit. You look like you could suck a golf ball through a garden hose. A Peter Puffer, dude. Yep. Yep. Texas. Only steers and queers come from Texas, and you don't look much like a bull, so that kind of narrows it down. Get down on your knees and choke yourself. Not with your hands, idiot. My hand. Don't pull my fucking hand to me. Or hand to you. You lean forward. Choke yourself. Had to knock that fucking smile off his face. Well, that guy was an actual gunnery sergeant, um, who played that role. So he was like just doing what he did. He's dead now, right? I can't remember. Ernie was his name. He passed away. Dude was an actual legit gunnery sergeant, and as I understand it, that's the scenes with him, especially doing his whole fucking gunnery sergeant thing, were largely influenced by him. He consulted heavily with Kubrick on Full Metal Jacket. So it's actually a pretty good representation of reality. They're paying for it, you eat it. Can't believe Bob Ross was a drill instructor. I know. I can't even imagine him like that, but it just goes to show you, like, it's a put on, right? It's designed to psychologically break people down, and just because a person is an asshole in that context doesn't necessarily mean they're that way in their life. You know, Bob Ross is a real, like, a testament to how a human being can change themselves if they really want to. I don't imagine he was a very good drill sergeant. Then he wouldn't have been a drill sergeant. You don't rise to be a drill sergeant without being a good drill sergeant. The Army doesn't work that way. The Army doesn't have, like, you know, nepotistic drill sergeants that are just people that don't know how to do it, don't deserve to be there, don't know the fucking drill. Yeah, no, Ernie, you can go back and find tons and tons of, like, interviews with him. He was a really nice guy. Everybody that worked with him liked him, as far as I know. So, you know, this idea that he was just this unrepentant asshole, he just knew. Like, we've talked the last couple of these shows, we've talked about bull baiting and different tactics that people take in conversation and in social situations that kind of weight the scales. And that's all a drill sergeant's job is taking individuals that come into the Army and removing from them their sense of individuality and creating a sense of consolidated conformism amongst them. And that means breaking down what they think they are. And that is what a drill sergeant does. It's tone 40, as Scientologists would say, or an SRA, a severe reality adjustment. Scientologists use this same kind of shit. And see, that's something that, like, I'm not saying that I'm exactly the same, but I'm capable of being insanely mean, insanely over the top, psychologically mean. I have a real knack for it, but I'm not an asshole. In my personal life, if you were sitting here on my fucking porch with me, we'd yuck it up and smoke a joint together. You know what I mean? I just know, I know how to use that. Whether or not you find that ethical is up to you, right? But I know how to use that. I know how to use tone 40, as the Scientologists call it. A drill sergeant bull baits so he knows which soldiers to castrate. I mean that's true. Bull baiting is a technique that's used widely in order to defeat somebody in an argument or in order to break somebody down psychologically. It's like you want to force that person into irrational anger in a situation in which that anger response is not going to serve them. Paul would make for a dope drill sergeant. Nah. All tone 40, that whole organization is such a hardcore LARP. Yes, it is. The drill sergeant in Full Metal Jacket, in my opinion, is more of an evil villain character than a drill sergeant who acts like that because he was trained to. I don't know. I don't take him that way. Ah, coffee. Good shit. Oh. Oh, D. Oh, D. Oh, dirty old dusty D. That's the ticket right there, y'all. That's the stuff. Gonna go lay in the sun, D? Well, all right. Are there palm trees in your yard? No, there are not palm trees in my yard. There are eucalyptus trees in my yard. And there's like a little tangerine tree up front. An orange tree? I can't really tell. Hasn't been well taken care of, so it doesn't really do much. OT. Scientology is dwindling, and I don't think it will. I don't think it'll outlast David Miscavige. I think that like once he leaves, whatever transition of power he sets up will be weaker, and the organization itself may have as few as 30,000 to 40,000 people in it. So methinks that Scientology is not long for this world. David Miscavige has no children. His wife has been missing since like 2012. Nobody's seen her in public. You know, who do you pass the torch to? He probably has a plan of succession, but it's already, his grip on that church is already weakening. So many high-profile people have left the church since 2015.
Or at least withdrew. Like, do you think like Travolta's probably one that looks like he's kind of stepped back more?
I mean, so is Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
I mean, Tom Cruise, Travolta, they're not like this big kind of drumbeat for Scientology that they used to be. They've stepped back, as you know, from the church, at least publicly. Leah Remini was a big defection, and the fact that she didn't just leave the church but did it very loudly, made a whole fucking series about it. Yeah, I mean, all of these things have wounded the church. The best thing that like Anonymous accomplished was bringing national media attention to some of this crazy shit that Scientology was doing right out there in the public under everybody's nose.
And that's when we kind of started the trend where there was like a good handful of Scientology documentaries after that.
Oh yeah, there were tons. There were, you know, Louis Theroux did my Scientology movie, and then there was Going Clear by Alex Gibney, and a number of other, you know, less high profile, but still informative documentaries. There was a crazy one that the BBC did. This BBC kind of muckraker journalist, John Sweeney, did a series called Scientology and Me, where he kind of like tried to get access to the church, but when he refused to limit the scope of his investigation to not talking to certain critics of the church, then they basically just started harassing him, because they left him no choice but to talk to nothing but critics of the church, because nobody from the church would talk to him. They immediately like sicked a private investigation firm on him. He was being followed everywhere he went. He didn't tell anybody where he was staying. And he walked into the lobby of his hotel after shooting one day, and Tommy, what's his fucking name? Oh my god damn it. Tommy. Anyway, it doesn't matter. His mother is a really famous actress from the 80s, not Tommy Lee Jones. But anyway, he was like a PR manager type of high ranking guy in Scientology. He's just waiting in the lobby of John Sweeney's hotel and walks up to him and goes like, you know, John, and John's like, wait a minute. Before we even start, how the fuck do you know where I've been staying? Who told you? Are you having me followed? And the guy just doesn't listen to it, and he goes, you know, I find it persistently obnoxious that you would continue to talk to the people that you've spent the day talking to. He just like breezes past the idea of like, how do I know who you've been talking to? So it's just like like the Nazis, he sneaks the premise by you. The premise is we watched you all fucking day. That's how I know where you're staying, dipshit. I've been waiting here for 20 minutes. Tommy Davis, thank you. And Tommy Davis, over the course of several days that he spent harassing John Sweeney's shoots, he would show up everywhere that John Sweeney was shooting with somebody. Like he was shooting on a rooftop, like at the top of a parking garage, like an open air split 3-level parking garage with a Scientology critic. And Tommy Davis pulls up in a fucking black Cadillac Escalade with 2 thugs just pulls up and gets up and just walks up and starts talking to John Sweeney like he's part of the interview. And John is like, how? That's a crazy one. If you can find it, it's actually crazy. So anyway, to bring it full circle, he actually successfully, over the course of several days of doing this to John Sweeney, bull baits John Sweeney and gets John Sweeney to have a fucking total meltdown on him. They're at the fucking Scientology Museum of Death.
Or psychiatry.
Or sorry, yeah, the Scientology Psychiatry Museum of Death, their exhibit in LA. John Sweeney has been invited by Tommy Davis and the church to go and see it, right? And the whole time he's there, Tommy Davis is turning the screws on how we've been following you. All the people that you're talking to are scumbags. This person is a scumbag. This person fucking is a liar. This person blah, 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 blah. Starts insinuating shit about the interviews. You're skewing these interviews. You're taking these interviews because you want to hurt the church and blah. He elevates it. And John Sweeney elevates right with him, just goes right along with it. And then finally it hits this crescendo where Sweeney just nobody looks good losing their mind like that. And he literally is like, you were not fucking there at the beginning of that interview. Are you there? He just loses his shit. And you can see the delight in Tommy Davis's face. He's like, oh yeah, I got it. He got so much praise for that shit. Because of course that clip was used by Scientology to discredit the entire thing as the works of a fucking raving madman who never fucking had any good intentions towards the church and has this unbridled psychopathic rage towards members of the church, you know, completely leaving out the context that was the culmination of 4 days of targeted harassment.
Yeah, but by the same token, they didn't make themselves look good either because he got all the footage of them harassing him. Right,
but at the end of the day, he even came back and apologized for the freak out because he was like, you know what, like, I could tell you, I could make excuses for it, but the truth of the matter is I was wrong. It was wrong of me to flip out like that. I apologized then. I apologize again now. You know, I apologized to Tommy Davis after that, you know. So it's like, you know, he knew he was wrong. That's the whole thing about bull baiting is like, it gets you to almost be violent. Like there's a certain level of vocal confrontation that is just short of violence. You know what I mean?
Verbal assault.
Right.
So did the BBC actually end up publishing it, or did he publish it independently?
The BBC published it.
Yeah.
He actually did a follow-up to it where, once again, he was followed all over the goddamn fucking place creepily. Yeah, but the follow up to it wasn't as good as the original. They're hard to find now because they're BBC shows.
Yeah.
BBC is pretty notoriously litigious.
Which is weird because they're supposed to be. Isn't that like Britain's PBS basically?
Well, yeah, but you have to have a TV license.
Yeah.
So it's Britain's PBS for Brits.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not a Brit, you're SOL. I think we do some of the same shit for our PBS, though, to be honest with you. I think a lot of our PBS shit that we can just access is blocked overseas. It kind of sucks. Once again, tear down the fucking borders, please.
Yeah. Brits, help.
Help, Brits, help. Release the BBC. We want BBC. Wait a minute. They have international version of Sesame Street and shit. I'm not sure how that works. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, Sesame Street's owned by HBO now.
That's true. So they're no longer a BBC property or at PBS property. Yeah, the whole Muppets are owned by HBO now. Like Henson Studios and all the shit that goes with that is all HBO now. You would think governments would want their culture spread easily. Well, the people with it that live within those like under those governments tend to want that, yeah. The governments don't, because they don't want, like, I'm trying to think of a way to explain this that isn't nerdy as fuck. I'm gonna have to be nerdy with it. In Crusader King 2 and Crusader Kings 3, video games that are like grand strategy games where you play as a dynasty. So you play as a ruling dynasty. There is something that you have to pay very close attention to. And in Crusader Kings 2, it was called domain, which is the actual, I think, ancient way of saying it. But in Crusader Kings 3, they call it domain, or your domain limit. It's basically the amount of areas that you can be the direct leader of, right? Without people revolting because they feel like you're too remote. So it's like you could have 3 or 4 counties in the game. But once you've reached that limit, if you try and take another county, you're over your domain limit, and people are going like, wait a minute, he's trying to be a king or some shit. Right? That's demean. What Devin just typed there. A lot of people, I used to cringe when I watched Let's Plays, because a lot of Let's Players that were really good at Crusader Kings 2 would call it, oh shit, I'm over my dements. And I'd be like, oh, it's demean. But anyway, so that's the way that governments look at it. That's the point, right? The heads of governments look at it like we want our culture to be confined within the lands that we can rule. Once it starts to get bigger, and see, in the game Crusader Kings, if you want to continue to grow your domain, you have to make vassals. So instead of you leading the area, you are the de facto leader of it because your vassal leads it. So the head of that area is somebody that lives in that area. It defrays some of your personal responsibility for it, but it opens you up to treachery. Because, of course, vassals are ambitious. Vassals don't like being vassals. They want to be the king. They want to be the fucking duke. They want to be whatever you are, right? think Russia and China don't think they've hit their domain limit yet. I don't think so. I don't think they might want to check. The British spread their culture and it didn't go down well. From what perspective? The British partially spread their culture here, and then here became the dominant culture of the world. So maybe it did work out well. From a cultural spread standpoint, maybe it did work out okay. Oh yeah, dude, it's been way too long since we just seized some territory, Phoebe. I agree. We gotta seize it. It's time. It's time, homie. We have to take Greenland so we can make condos when it's a tropical paradise. We need to annex Puerto Rico, Puerto Rico. The annexation of Puerto Rico. That's the super move. That's like the super play in Little Giants. That movie that wins them the fucking game. The annexation of Puerto Rico. Not just Puerto Rico, my friend. Pretty much all of sorry, I just got a text message. I don't think I need to respond though. Pretty much all of what were we talking about? Pretty much all of the fucking Gulf of Mexico is going to be a wasteland pretty soon. Much of it already is. I fled part of that wasteland. Wasteland? No, I mean like a place where there used to be fucking civilization that's now underwater or uninhabited because of the constant barrage of storms. Florida is sinking, my friend. More and more of Florida is disappearing underneath sinkholes and shit. It's a nightmare, bro. Moment of Zen. Very grounding. That people will be forced to accept it's gone. Like that, TJ will tell you a story. He was just like doing a bayou tour on a fan boat, and they were going down through the bayou, and they ended up landing on what was ostensibly an island. Now used to be a neighborhood. All of the buildings had been demolished for scrap, but all the streets were still there, and there was functionally no way to get to it anymore because the sea had swallowed it. See? You got to take times to ground yourself like that, by the way. That whole moment of Zen shit. You got to let, like, yourself be rooted in the moment. Be aware of the sounds around you and your own presence in your own body. It's a smart move. I'm also pretty high, so that tends to help. Oh my goodness. I just had a moment of Zen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just kind of like closed my eyes. You ever do that? Like just close your eyes and like listen. Not like meditating, but just like letting it.
In the moment.
Yeah. I do it a lot in the mornings when I first wake up. It like grounds me.
Sorry.
No.
That was me listening to Biden being a piece of shit. Pay no mind.
How's he being a piece of shit? What did he do?
This is
Fucking
him.
crank it. I want to hear
No,
it.
this is him talking about Rodney King. Back in the Rodney King riot.
Oh shit. We dug up another one of the dirty old skeletons in racist old Biden's closet, eh?
Here, I'll make sure I start from the beginning.
Can't expect police officers without clear guidance to do anything other than try to protect us by whatever means are necessary. I mean, I wonder what my friend from California would said if this beating case we saw out in Los Angeles,
Rodney
if in
King.
the process of that beating, that person confessed to having murdered somebody. Should it be admissible?
Rodney King only got pulled over for
If in the
drunk
process of
driving.
that beating, I asked that question to my friend. What was the fellow's name? And Rodney King. If when Rodney King was being beaten, the guy we saw on television, in the process of that beating, Rodney King confessed to a murder that he did commit, should Rodney King be convicted under our laws?
Rodney King, again, isn't a murderer.
That's my question.
Never accused of murder.
I don't know under those circumstances.
What a poisonous fucking viper of a human being. Do you see why I didn't vote for Joe Biden? Good old racial jungle Joe.
And he basically goes on in that to like advocate for like, well, I don't understand why we don't allow in confessions from beating people to shit.
Rodney King wasn't even pulled over for drunk driving. He was pulled over for speeding.
Yeah.
He was going over 100 miles an hour in a residential zone. So they considered it to be wildly in excess, and so they engaged him all aggressively, which up until that point, I don't think they did anything wrong. Then they mercilessly beat him. beat him, dragged him out of his car and beat him, and didn't know it, but somebody in the neighborhood he got pulled over in had themselves a little video camera, and they grabbed it and they poked it out their window, and that was Joe Biden's response to it. Well, we see with the law enforcement just does what it has to protect the people. Let's just say there's this beating out in California. What's the guy's name? Rodney King. This beating. What if that guy, in the course of that beating, confessed to a murder that he did commit? That he committed? It's like, what? When does that come into it? Rodney King was never suspected of or accused of murder. The only thing Rodney King did wrong, provably, was go in excess of the speed limit to a very dangerous degree. You don't beat a man in the street for that. He was beaten because he was black.
Yeah, it's like once you have him fucking detained and the car stopped, then that's that.
And they had that. The car was stopped and he was detained and they beat the fuck out of him. Have you ever seen the Rodney King tape? You should look it up if you've never seen it.
And like Biden just going on this tangent, and it's like, you know what? Not directly, but heavily implying, like, we should just beat more people to elicit confessions out of them.
Beat more of those people.
Yeah.
If it was a white guy that this was done to, Biden would have been all over this shit, like white on rice. He's a racist from way back. Opposed free busing for black people because it was better in his mind for black kids not to get to come to school than it was for his kids to grow up in a racial jungle. That's what he thinks of black people. Called them super predators.
They're all just murderers,
Yep.
and we just gotta beat it out of them.
Dude, listen to some of the shit he said during his crime bill shit. It's insanely racist. I don't care about making criminals better. Talking about black people. I care about protecting them from raping your daughter, killing my family and my son and his children. That's what I care about, Jack. Poor people are just as... No. It was poor kids are just as talented and smart as white kids. And then he said it, oh, that was a slip of the tongue later. It's like, no, maybe it was. It was a slip of it was a Freudian slip where you accidentally said what you think.
Yeah, as bad as the Republicans are with like the more recent cases, I don't think any of them like offhandedly accused anyone of murder that got beaten to death.
I don't know. I mean, dude, a lot of Republicans said a lot of shitty things about fucking George Floyd. It was oh yeah, he was violent, oh he was on drugs and he was resisting and blah blah, you know. So it's common for people that are racist to dress down black people that are the victims of police brutality.
But at the very least, publicly, they didn't say like, "Oh, what if he had been a murderer?"
Yeah, what if George Floyd? Let's just say that like as he was being kneeled on like that, he confessed to a rape, and then he did that rape. Well, whatever. Like, well, do we want to limit the cops? It's like, what? Yes, we do. Joe D. Derns, thanks, bro, for the $24.99. I feel like there's, I feel like I could get a pretty good off-brand pair of shoes for that.
Yeah.
Like maybe a pair of Airwalks or some shit if I went to the outlets. That's dope. Thank you. I need a new pair of Airwalks. I've noticed that my Airwalks, as comfy as they are, dude, they're a hazard for me now. They are like, I've walked the tread off of them. They're slick on the bottom. I've had them for like 10 years. They're so comfy. But I need a new pair of like low top skate shoes. By the way, I hate to say it, but I think something carried off one of my boots.
Yeah.
I went
That's
looking.
One.
I went
I
look.
think you only brought out the one. I don't think you brought out both.
Then I'm a stoned idiot because I spent like 10 minutes out here looking around the porch and looking around the property to see if something came up here and grabbed my boot.
No, I feel like you've just had that.
I
one
brought one boot to kill the frog.
Yeah.
Okay. The other boot's inside.
That boot's been out there for like 2 months now.
Yeah, the boot's been chilling there for a minute. It's probably time to bring the boot in. There might be something living in the boot now. I thought like a coyote came and took my boot. I had to kill a frog, yes.
It was all fucked up.
It was mangled. A cat, like one of the strays around here, had killed it and left it here. Like, well, not killed it, but like chewed off one of its arms and gutted it, and it was like alive, sitting there like, you know, the animal equivalent of kill me. And I was like, fuck.
You got a mercy kill.
I mean, it sucks. I've had to do it in the past, and it sucks, but it's the way to do it. Yeah, I put him out of his misery. Whatever passes for misery in a frog. Yeah.
Dude, if we brought a frog to the vet, they would laugh in our fucking faces.
That's ridiculous. The dude, that's fucking ridiculous. This frog was fucking not coming back, dude. It was not going to be one of those BuzzFeed, quickie stories about people that took compassion on a gutted frog. This frog was on his way out, dude. He was missing a whole ass arm. Both his legs were mangled to shit. And part of his guts were hanging out of his belly. And he was just like there's no fucking frog CPR, it's not gonna happen. And here's Hoppy the Toad now, and he's got two little wheels in the back, Dude was on his way out.
Dude, that makes me wonder now, if there are people that bring in things that are obviously on death's door to vets, like little wild animals.
Oh, I'm sure it happens all the time. I'm sure it fucking happens all the time. I mean, the best a vet can do is just put it down and charge you for it.
No, I feel like that cat wouldn't have come back to see if that frog was dead. He was done with it.
Cats do that, right? So cats will do this. Like, cats don't always hunt for food. And scientists that have studied it think they're not 100% sure about any kind of animal behavior or the etymology of or where it comes from, but they think that cats play with certain animals in order to keep their hunting instinct sharp. It's like practice for them. How do I kill things in a different way? How do I maim this thing? It's like, to us, it looks kind of sadistic, but cats will catch a frog and just fuck with it all night. And that's basically what this cat had done. And then it probably left it out here because there's water out here that we put out here for Dinor. And so it probably liked that, and it just left it on our porch.
Like, here you go, you're welcome. Or
Yep.
Thank you for the water.
Yeah. But we hardly see cats anymore now that the fucking foxes have taken up residence. They're natural enemies. So
And as far as I know, foxes don't hunt for fun.
no, they just play for fun.
Yeah.
They scurry around for fun. But maybe I don't know. Maybe they do. Maybe they play with their food. You feeling the effects of drought in your part of Cali? Dude, me and Amelia just bought yesterday an expensive, well, not super expensive, but a big humidifier for our bedroom so that we're not sleeping in absolutely dry air all night. And then we bought 2 big air purifiers to put at opposite ends of the house. I'm going to put one probably right outside or in my fucking office and one in the living room probably. And start sucking some of the shit out of the air inside the house because...
Yeah, it's going to be especially useful probably when it gets to be fire season. It's just fucking...
Maybe we'll be lucky because I'll tell you this, where we're at now, a lot of the shit in the foothills around here burned already. So this fire season might be mercifully not that bad in this area.
I feel like it would still come over the...
A lot of it may, but I'm telling you, like, it was super bad here last fire season because the foothills around here were on fire. Like, there's a whole town that I used to go to growing up called Oakhurst. My dentist, when I was a kid, moved up there. He semi-retired, did his whole private practice thing, and saw, like, a select few people, and that's where he was, and we would have to drive up to Oakhurst. That whole fucking town is gone. Just burned. It burned. It was like a little mountain bedroom retirement community. Very pretty little town in the big, tall fucking old pines and shit. It's gone. It's gone. It's dead. A lot of the places I went when I was a kid are gone. For one reason or another, like a lot of the lakes that I've gone, like I used to go to as a kid, are almost not worth going to anymore because the water level is so fucking absurdly low. So, yeah. Pretty fucked up.
That's okay. Angelina Jolie will save us.
Yeah. Dude, I learned that if a fire's coming, you go get in the creek and you hold your breath and you lay down and cover yourself in the creek till the firestorm goes by. I don't know if that's true or not, but it was a thing in the movie that she did.
The hard part is finding the creek around here.
Yeah. Dude, so we watched, so now that you've had a couple of days to think about The Devil Made Me Do It, what do you have any thoughts about it?
I think probably the thing that pisses me off the most is the absolutely pointless heart disease plot line.
Yeah, there's like the plot line where Earl Warren in the movies, if you guys don't know, the Conjuring films are...
or Ed.
Ed.
Yeah.
It is Ed. Okay, Ed Warren and what's her name? Lorraine. So Ed and Lorraine Warren were these like hucksters that went around being demonologists. They called themselves demonologists. They would go to these places like where people said that there was a haunting or a demon possession or whatever, and kind of involved themselves in it, sometimes directly, sometimes very indirectly, and then use it to build their mythology as these people who knew everything there was to know about demons or whatever the fuck. And the Conjuring movies are based loosely on their fucking cases or whatever. And Ed is an idiot. He's an idiot in these movies. You just want him to shut the fuck up 90% of the time. Like, he is dumb and Lorraine is smart. He is stupid and Lorraine is learned. He is ham-fisted and Lorraine is well-spoken. He is not psychic and Lorraine is psychic. He is hampered by multiple disabilities and Lorraine is very physically fit. He's just like an oaf that's like, I don't understand.
We learned it was fat erasure too. It's like, why is this dude having a heart attack?
Yeah.
And then we learned later that the real Ed Warren was a fucking fat dude.
He's a fat dude, and it's like, oh, okay, like, the heart problems make more sense.
But the fucking actor was too fucking...
But yeah, it's the dude that played the fucking owl or whatever in Watchmen. So, but there were some enjoyable things about it. It definitely, like, how did you feel about the antagonist in it? Like, the pretty decent, yeah? The witch chick had a cool look. I wish we got to learn more about her. Like, I wish it wasn't just like a burst of exposition at the
And
end.
there was definitely like some actual mystery, like how they led to her.
Right. I mean, you have to ignore all the stupid Christian bullshit.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's, it was a cohesive movie. You could follow the plot line and shit. Had some creepy moments in it. There was some memorably creepy stuff in it.
Probably the stupidest jump scare was she finds a rat under a house.
The
like,
rat,
you would
yeah.
never see a rat under a house.
Yeah, she screams like she saw a demon because there's a rat under the house. Yeah. That was pretty dumb. There's a lot of pretty ham-fisted jump scares in the movie, like obvious like play-ups to jump scares, and then I mean, at least they're smart enough that there's a couple of false jump scares to throw you off balance, but
I can't imagine anyone that isn't dumb going under an old fucking basement being like, oh my god, a rat.
yeah, I know. Like, man, you're not prepared to see a rat, then why the fuck did you go down in a haunted demon basement? No, I liked the witch. I liked the witch antagonist. I thought she was pretty cool. I thought she had a cool aesthetic. I thought the lady that played her was really good. She's the lady that plays the mother in The Witch. Interestingly enough. Oh, anyway, fuck, I've been doing this a long time. I'm gonna leave. Bye.